season 2. So we're going to ignore the transfers in at the moment. We'll get around to those as we go. But season 2, the transfers out, I knew I was going to be losing some big players. Now, Tyler Reid's deal to Swindon was done as part of the database, so he was already leaving. Nothing I could do about that. Daniel James, 15 and a quarter to United. Again, nothing I could do about that. But I wasn't sad to lose either of them, especially not to those prices. Jordan Ayew, again, similar to Van der Horn. I was trying to keep him, but I think it was Aston Villa who actually opened up the bidding at, I think, 12 million, which I rejected. And he was upset. He wanted to leave. So we agreed on a fee of 16.5. Again, it didn't take more than about a day this time. A little bit longer than Van der Horn, but about a day, less than 2 days for certain. Palace comes in with that 16.5 magical figure. So I had to accept the deal. So big money though, that did allow us to make moves elsewhere. And that was the start of really the rebuild in earnest later on. So we've done a lot of work scouting some players to come in. We had the budget to get these guys done. But then when you're looking towards July, August, I finally knew I had money thanks to the Ayew deal. That would put 45 or whatever grand a week away from his wages as well. Opened up things nicely indeed. Montero for 3.3, not a bad deal for him. I knew he wouldn't be at the club. I knew as well, if I'm losing Daniel James, Montero, Nathan Dyer, a couple others, I was going to a narrower formation. I would not be playing with wingers from that point forward. Andre Ayew, a deal that the board hated, the fans hated. 7 million in sales. But for me, it was key to get those wages off the books. Because between him and Wilfred Boney at 90,000 a week and 80,000 a week respectively, that is £170,000 a week. We could not carry those wages. So while Boney left on a free, Ayew I sold for just 7 million. I thought, get that money in, but also reduce the wage budget, and that gives me a lot of room to play with. Then we had some players going out on frees. Small fee there. Barry McKay out on loan. Again, not playing with wingers. Don't think he makes the cut in the Premier League. So, decided to make a move early. Jordi goes out. Good Johnson goes out. Leto there, just a smidge over that quarter. Just a smidge under, the $250,000, which could rise to just about 275. And then very recently in game, Tom Carroll out for that 750,000. End of contract. I think I've got better midfielders. We'll get to that. But we're shipping out all the youngsters. We're shipping out the players we don't need. But in a very, very similar situation to the Mike Van der Horn deal. My best defender, my club vice captain at this point, because after Van der Horn left, I put Rodon in as my vice captain. And then when Leroy Fur left, I gave Ollie McBurney the captain's armband because we had very little else. But Joe came and said that he wanted to play in the Premier League towards the end of the first season. And I told him we'd look at it when the time came. So, start of the second season, Huddersfield are being relegated from the Premier League. And Joe decides that they're a big enough club, even though they're coming down to our division. We didn't have a good season. He wants to leave. I told him that I would only sell him for 18.5 million. So we agree on that. We go away. 2 days later, the bid comes in. It gets finalized on the deadline day. 16.5 million. An extra little bit on top, which hasn't been realized just yet. But 20 million deal for Rodon. I felt the money was good. I felt I could sort of spend that elsewhere. And you'll see we did that. So between Andre Ayew's money coming in and his wages going off the book, his brother Jordan's big money coming in and his lesser wages off the book, and Joe Rodon's big fee. Even though we didn't get all that money, it really set us up into a position where we could attack the transfer market. So, free player youngsters. We brought in Jose Maria Moore, good young player, good depth, good for the future, might make the jump to the Premier League. Sinan Kurt is a left winger with retraining to an attacking midfield centre. Again, good depth and good for the future. He might just be a career backup with us. The star of the show, my first team sort of big signing that I knew between him and Jaras, we could rebuild the midfield. So from Real Madrid's youth team, from their B team on a free transfer at the end of his contract, Alex Febas, absolutely fantastic, playing as a roaming midfielder, a Mezzala on the right of a midfield three. Very happy with him. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. Lewis Fry, youngster, tons of potential, attacking midfielder. Loading up on those youngsters to rebuild our youth team and our pipeline for the future. Arrives late in opponent's area, pretty good for that position. Taylor Moore, young centre-back, again, pretty good, pretty young. Another Englishman at the club, another British player with Brexit looming, which is triggering in my game. I believe for the start of Season 3, we've already had a couple of messages about that. We've got Kempton, good young defensive midfielder, almost ready for the first team at 16 years of age. Picked him up on a free transfer. He didn't have a club. Stephen Warner, again, a very good young option. Not too far outside the first team again. Mike Mensah, again, very, very similar. And Alexander Bro, again, very similar. Now, I'm not sure how high these ratings actually are, because the players they're being judged against aren't great, and we're in the championship, so our reputation is very high. So it doesn't mean they're going to be world superstars, but it should mean that they make Premier League players. So to pick up some Premier League players on free transfers, I think was very, very good indeed. Long-term, Danny Finlayson gives me another option at the back. I think between him and Amor, we've got two young guys at the back who might develop into something. If not, they will be good career backups, maybe even at the Premier League level. Replacing Joe Rodon, I thought was key, but initially I wanted to get someone to play alongside him, so Benedict Gimba for 2.5. That was a recommendation from Dave in our Twitch chat, and I scouted him. He looked really good. I couldn't get him at the end of Season 1, but in the off-season, just for start of Season 2, we managed to get a £2.5 million deal in place, and he is basically what I'm building my defense on. He is my rock at the back I've been looking for. So I'm really, really happy with him. Let me bring in a couple of old players. Like I said, we needed the leadership and the veteran presence. So Antonio Valencia, £19,500 a week on a free transfer. He's been absolutely fantastic for me at right back. Adrian in goal. He's kept countless clean sheets already. He looks really, really good. He will be dropping off a little bit at this age. He is sort of under pressure for that number one goalkeeper spot, but at this point, he was my first choice, and I thought he'd be an excellent addition. He has proved to be just that. $3 million for Thiago Ribeiro. He's out on loan at the moment. He's got a lot of potential for the future, and that's what we bought. So a lot of money for not a lot right now, but I thought we got bargains elsewhere, so we could spend a bit of money to see if that deal will work out. Bit of defensive cover again, left back, centre back, Brendan Galloway from Everton. Good, solid, just another backup sort of member of the team. And then the reason that we might be seeing the back of Adrian is Dean Henderson. £2.5 million deal. The young Englishman looks really solid. He's got the potential to grow. He's battling kind of up there with Adrian right now. Adrian's just ahead, but after this season, we'll switch over to Dean Henderson, and we'll see how he does. Just back from injury, so he has lost a few stats or a few progress in training. Not too bad, though. Another young signing, Lewis Ferguson. Good young midfield prospect. We're just getting the British lads in. Even if they're just there to fill out the squad. We've got Mario Freire. Very good, very cheap, very young, but he's a winger. I brought him in thinking I might use wingers again in the future. However, between me not using that formation and him being unhappy, we are selling him. We'll make a little bit of a profit, but that's okay. Mohamed Kudus as well. He comes in from Norway. Pretty good player for the future, and between him and Selena, they are my number 1 and 2 backups and rotation options in attacking midfield to spell Jaras. Sandro Tonali, a player I chased for a long time, and then Juventus came in on deadline day with a 6 million bid. I had to match that. I had to go all out. I gave him a 26 grand contract to try and see them off. Luckily, he wanted the first team football. He is a key member of this squad going forward. Really happy with that. The Joe Rodon deal going out, I tried to get Scott McKenna from Aberdeen. I failed to get him on deadline day. Luckily, I was chasing Benoit Badiashile. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that surname, but I call him Benny B or Baddy. And he's done really well for me at the back as well. He's my starting centre-back alongside Benedict Gimba. So I've got Benny G and Benny B. So 5 million, not a cheap deal at all, but we had the money to spend. And like I say, both left-footed centre-backs, but really we got a ball player and we got a defensive player. They're both quite young, 22 and 18, both with potential, both really good right now. And I think they grow with the club, like Tonali, like Jaras, and like Alex Febas. They'll all grow with the club as we go into the Premiership and climb up that table. So very good deals there. And then the rest are in January, and some big deals in here all over. So very quickly, João Magina, good young Portuguese central mid. I realised at this point that if we were going to be kicked out of Europe, if we're going to do Brexit, and there's going to be limitations of at least 17 foreign players in your first team squad, that's your maximum number of foreign nationals you can have. Players from the EU are going to cost you work permits in the future. So it's not as easy to build a squad from European players or just from non-British players in the future. So I thought this is the perfect time now to spend a little bit of money and bring in these foreign players. So Magina, very good young sort of central midfielder. David Carriello, again from Italy, centre-back with a few stats I liked and got a bit of potential about him. We'll see if he pans out, but I think career backup might be his limit. Then a young English defender who might again be in that same boat, but we're just replenishing the youth stock, so cheap deal for Wally. We spend $750,000 on Armando Ramos, who could be another decent midfield prospect. Then $100,000 for this young 16-year-old Togolese striker. He was in Germany. He's got a German passport. I've already played him once in the Cup. He got a goal on his debut. Lovely little flicked header. Led the line well, was man of the match. Loved seeing that. So long term, he could be my starter up top, and I'm really happy to have him at the club. Just 80 grand for Andy Dowie. Again, another British player for long-term squad numbers. Eckersley, another player in that mould. May not make it. I don't like 3-star players. I like to be a bit more, considering we're in the Championship. But, you know, David McAllister, another attacking midfield option. And he's just filling up the squad. Another Swiss player here, Giovanni Bux, another European player to fill out before we get those limitations. Hans Mensah, Dutch centre-back, looks pretty decent. And again, just filling out some time. Emmanuel Allende, he started a game at left-back, the same cup game where our Togolese striker got the goal. Looks pretty good, to be honest with you. He just won his first cap for Nigeria. I believe he's got a Scottish passport, so that really helps out as well. He should be good under Brexit, if I'm honest. And then Frode Knudsen had a good scout report, million on him. Anders Linde, another Scandinavian guy at the back. So we've got the Norwegian and the Swedish guy there. So I spent $1 million on each of those. Needed more left back. I managed to keep Martin Olsson from leaving after season 1, but season 2 is going to be his last at the club. He's already agreed a deal at the end of his contract, and he never wanted to talk about staying. In fact, I had to trigger a clause at the end of his season 1 deal to keep him at the club. So young Josh Earl, good left back. So between him, Declan John, Brendan Galloway, and Ayinde. We've got so many options now. Got two really good starting options in Ayinde and Earl. And then Declan John and Brendan Galloway are both really good backup options. So going into the Premier League, I really like what we've got at fullback. A cheap deal for Rui Gomez in defence. Again, filling out numbers, getting in those Europeans before the work permit issue. And yeah, at the start of the window, I really didn't know what I was going to do, but the scouts threw up Enis Avdic, and 10 million was a little bit more than other teams were paying for him. Dortmund youngster, but I love that high determination. I love those stats. I thought at 16 years of age, he can almost go into the first team right now. And long term, he completes a lot for me with Tonali and Fabas in centre mid just ahead of him, and then Jadas and Orsolina just above him, depending whether I play 2 or 1 attacking centre mid. So I thought he fills out a lot. Bayern Munich did bid 8 million for him, which is why I think they bid 6, so it was going up to 8 or 9. So I just went in with 10 million. I think it was 6 million and 4 million in add-ons. He asked for 10,000 a week, I believe. No, what did he ask for? I can't remember. Yeah, no, he asked for like 9,000 and change, so basically 10 grand a week. I knew I'm competing for a signing here with Bayern Munich. I'm in the Championship, they're in the Champions League. So I thought, what would a first team player in this position be worth to me? Someone of his quality, someone who's got room to grow, someone who will be the linchpin of that midfield. I thought 30 was a good number. So 30 grand a week. We've got him on a long-term deal. A lot of money, big wage for a 16-year-old. But I think he's already showing his promise. And he's got so much room to grow. I think he will be a key member in my Premier League push. So those are all the subs. All the transfers, ins and outs, some big deals. We made 20 million in transfers this season. We spent only 1.5 last year. So overall, we're up a decent amount, 18.5 in total. Now, I've still got some deals in the fireplace. You can see here, we've got the confirmation of a young goalkeeper joining us. Tons of potential, could be a big player. We've got a right back in Ocampo. He'll join for 2.5 million. Really think he could be really good on that right flank because Valencia's old, Norton's old, and this gives me Connor Roberts and Ocampo moving forward. As I say, Barbe going out, Norton and youngster Matt Blake going out. And then we've got Che Adams, big deal. He might be leaving for a little bit of profit to go to West Brom. Sinan Kurt's going out on loan. But then we're bringing in another young midfielder. I think he's got a Dutch passport, but the South African-born Keegan Fowler. Again, high determination, good physicals, good stats in there. I don't think he's far away from the first team. I did scout him a while ago, so I have re-scouted him. We'll see where that turns up. But first time, it was 4-star potential. I thought, very cheap deal, £1 million. Probably a Premier League backup. And also, we got Theo, which is actually Theo Zidane. He comes in from Real Madrid's youth team. And again, we're very happy to have him on board. So I'm not really sure if he makes the team or not. We're kind of overloaded now in central mid, but we have the formation that needs those positions as well. So all in all, a pretty good set of transfers, I think, for the second season. And if we move in here to season 2, scroll up, you can see the friendlies going okay. Not too bad. I mean, second friendly, player sent off, but we still get the win. A little bit of youngsters losing their heads there. We get pegged back, or early goal, their late goal for Ajaccio. And then Montpellier come in and absolutely dominate us. We managed to get in to a good game against Genoa and compete. And then the first game of the season, Morpay not scored for the club in that first spell. He gets on the board nice and early with a double. That Josh Morris goal as well, I believe, is an own goal because he tackled Neil Maupay near the line. The ball went over the net. If he didn't make that tackle, didn't give up that own goal, Maupay has a tap in with a goalie on the ground, maybe 12 yards away, and he's 1 yard out in the center of the goal. So almost a hat trick there, much improved. We do regress slightly, but the game gets killed off when they go ultra defensive after losing a man. Then we lose out on penalties in, again, the first round of the Carabao Cup, the League Cup competition. And the board are not happy again with that performance. But we took them to penalties. We got outplayed a little bit at times. But yeah, not a bad game per se. Then we come back, Neil Maupay with another pair of goals. So 2 home games, 4 goals for Maupay. Should have been 5. Then we get absolutely ripped apart by Palmora. He was absolutely magnificent. This result is totally on him. He won that penalty. He assisted for Michael Jacobs. He scored 2 wonder goals of his own. One a first-time shot from the edge of the area. The other where he went past 5 or 6 men like they weren't there and put it in the top corner. Nice to see Kudus, though, coming through, getting a game, getting a goal. But it wasn't enough. He absolutely blew us away there, Palmora did. And he doesn't even look spectacular, but he does have it in his locker. West Brom away then. We've got a good point. It's another draw away from home against a very, very tough team. At this stage, I knew we'd be in good shape for the season ahead. Jadas wins a penalty, a very bitty game against Forest. Then we lose a really bad game against Barnsley. This is the wake-up call we needed, though. This is where I laid into the players a little bit like the Sheffield United early game, except no formation shenanigans, no big wins. They were just playing badly enough as it was, so I could just shout at them. I could sort of get my point across, get everybody on the same page, and we did make some tactical changes in this little run, which culminates in a good run later on. So Huddersfield, good double there for McBurney, gave up a late goal due to a long ball. Defensive mistake at the back again, sadly. Still dealing with that. Again, Shane Long's goal is identical. A long ball counter-attack. Defender misses a header. Shane nips in behind. Lovely finish. But we do pick up another win. We kind of got outplayed a little bit here by Preston. But I think we're the architects of our own demise. They didn't play very well. They didn't beat us as much as we beat ourselves at times in that game. So, kind of disappointed, but made the final tactical changes. And then we go on what is the start of an unbelievable run, which has continued until now. So, we're unbeaten from this point forward in the season. A good win there, but hard fought. We needed the red card to kind of kill Blackburn's threat. We immediately capitalised, and then I basically killed off the game from there on out because Blackburn was sitting back. So, I kept possession. I made sure they couldn't counter-attack, but I kept possession and killed the game. Then Bristol City, we should have lost that game. We had one chance in that game pretty much that I thought we were going to score. At times we dominate the games. We don't get the results we want. But here we managed to get a point where we could have easily lost that. So a big improvement from the start of the season, from the first season. So I'm happy there. QPR, our favourite team to play. We get big results against them more often than not. And you can see that we're getting goals, including a Che Adams goal. Sheffield United, again, a couple of late goals. They threw everybody forward at the death, but it wasn't enough. Billy Sharp loves playing against us. But luckily at that point, we had drummed up enough in the first half and then controlled the game second half to get a good away win. Followed that up here with another comprehensive win. The only chance falling to Ashley Jazz Richards, our former player, on the edge of the area. He smashed it in left-footed. Totally unexpected, but, you know, he did really, really well. But again, another dominant performance. We smash against Burnley as well. They were second in the league at this point. I think we were 5th, I think. This actually put us, though, catapulted us up into second and dropped Steven Gerrard's team down to 3rd. But a good win, comprehensive again there. Then away at Hull, a difficult game, but we made the most of our opportunities. We didn't give them any opportunities either. Second clean sheet in a row. I was really pleased with that. And then the first derby game of this save. Cardiff finished bottom of the league. They come down. They're a mid-table side in the Championship this season. And we absolutely controlled this game. Got a good 3-0 victory. So it's 3 wins and 3 clean sheets on the bounce, taking our win streak up to 6. It soon becomes 7. A late penalty that I thought wasn't a penalty, but, you know, again, defensive mistakes at the back. We did good, though, to get up into a lead before that happened. 7 wins in a row. And then Stoke absolutely came to spoil our party. Or we went there and they spoiled our party, as it were. Again, a bit of a bad performance in some ways. I don't think that we did too well. So, yeah, even though that's only like a month or so away from the in-game date, we can't see the match details. Interesting. Then we started a new run, and as you can see here, we did really, really well. Che Adams with an early goal, Fabas, Selena again from midfield, and then they got a goal back. Borja gets a goal towards the end. We get an own goal. Really weird own goal. Nobody anywhere near him. He just puts it in his own net, trying to clear. We get a penalty, and Ollie McBurney scores. First time in a little while for Ollie McBurney. He went on a bit of a quiet run across this season. And then they get a late penalty. Not really the best, seeing these mistakes at the back. But that was a long ball counter that they profited from. Big win over Oxford. Again, another penalty for us, but a good performance. Now we can see the actual ratings. So, only about a month back. But you can see there the performance pretty comprehensive all in all. And that's pretty much my first team as well. It's pretty much my first team for the entire season. So, we'll see that being repeated. A good win against Sheffield Wednesday. We get that early goal. We get that double. We get one pull back. I thought we're in for a game, but Baston puts it beyond doubt. And then we're able just to see the game out. And again, here, another nice controlling win. Not a great performance. Only really a couple of standout players. But really, I'm happy enough. And then a pair for Selena, who's been playing a lot better recently. Baston gets another goal. Really good performance at home to Derby County. And then Bury in the cup. Played the youngsters, as I say. Kudos, not great, but Akindi makes his debut there. We have a rotated squad. £10 million man, Advich in midfield, decent for him. Lewis Ferguson, good game for him. Duvon scores the first goal, and then off the bench I bring in Mensah and Kempton, 2 of those youngsters. Kempton actually gets me that extra goal. Very nice finish from him. So, happy to see him in and around the first team for the next part of the season. But yeah, not bad. We've got a run now of games that I think really should solidify the rest of the season. Away 23rd and 11th before facing Premiership West Ham in the FA Cup. We have already met that objective, so I don't mind playing a rotated squad and losing that one. I don't think a cup run is on the cards. In the middle of that, though, a home game against West Brom, that'll be tough, especially if they have Che Adams there. They'll be having Che Adams and Jay Rodriguez probably on the wings. Both of those are good goal scorers. Then we got Barnsley. Again, it's a big team, but it's at home, 6th place. The away games, again, bottom of the table, mid-table, Huddersfield and Norwich. Back at home for a top of the table clash with Preston. Away to a poor team in Blackburn. And Bristol City at home. So, in this run, I see a lot of away games against bad teams. And then home games against the good teams. So, we should be on a good footing for that. Like I say, if I kind of manage the squad carefully enough, we'll be okay. Then it's an interesting kind of run here in March. You know, top 10 side, 2nd place Burnley away from home, but 17th and 24th at home. So we'll see in that one. And then we got the away game of Cardiff. They're struggling at the moment. Hull at home, Cardiff away, Brentford away, that'll be a big game as well. Stoke at home, Charlton mid-table, Middlesbrough mid-table, and then away for the end of the season at Oxford United. But right now, I'm absolutely happy with the way the save is going. Season 1 was going to be a rebuild, finish mid-table. I did that, but the board wanted playoffs. We clashed a lot. The cup competitions didn't help. Losing Mike van der Horn didn't help. The whole issue with the first game of the season being so terrible and having to make a statement there, that kind of did help me. But then Leroy Fer later on took it away. The signings we made for Season 2, though, was really, really good. So consolidate Season 1, playoff Season 2, promotion Season 3, survive relegation in the Premier League Season 4. Season 5 goal then would be to consolidate mid-table Premier League. And from that point forward, I think we're in a really good place. So Season 1 hit my objectives barely, but it did. Season 2, I'm looking for a playoff spot. I'm expecting to be 7th or 8th at this point in the season. Just gaining momentum. But it hasn't quite worked out that way. That run of form means that we're the top goal scorers, we're the best defence, huge goal difference. Only lost 3 games all season away to Preston, Barnsley and Wigan. So we're unbeaten at home. In fact, we're 100% at home. The 4 draws, Stoke, Bristol, West Brom and Derby as well. So you look at all that, 11 points clear, just over halfway in the season. We've just spent big. We've blown our entire transfer budget. But I think anything less than the title is going to be a disappointment. So we've overhauled the team absolutely, completely. This is going to be my next starting lineup. I don't know why the auto size doesn't work so well. But Henderson will start because Adrian isn't fit. But like you can see, we've got some good ratings down that back line. Olsen's just dropping off. So having Josh Earl with that potential and Ayinde with that potential, I think those will replace Olsen moving forward. Valencia drops out the side for a little while, but he has been really, really good. And also Duvon, that great-looking young striker, he sits out this game. Not quite ready for first-team football. But I've got a good back line, a good midfield. Like I say, when we add Avdic to that defensive midfield, move Tonali up to replace Matt Grimes, and then we've got, Advic, Febas, Tonali, and Jadas probably as my starting 4. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. But like having Matt Grimes, Berson Selena in the mix as well, I think we'll be in a really good spot. Up front, Borja, he's been playing really well. Just signed a new deal. We tried to get rid of him. We couldn't get the wages off the books, so a new deal in place for him and Ollie McBurney, the captain, as well. So pretty good first-team squad. You can see Selena's actually our top scorer. That's why he's got the first-team spot over Jadas at the moment. But yeah, really, really good. Really good assists as well. Spread out all over the place. Spread out man of the matches, but Jadas is the key man. Average rating of more than 1 game is Martin Olsen, same as the first season. So he was player of the year last year. He'll probably be player of the year this year. Sad to see him go, but like I say, it is time. He wants to move on. But 4 players on 8 goals. I'm happy. 1 player on 9 goals. I'm happy. We're getting everything in the right way. I'm happy with the age of the squad as well. We've got some very, very young players on the fringes of the first team and an 18-year-old defender. As we move forward through the team, you can see, we got good depth as well as room to grow. And then our big men in the first team at the moment, the 2 team leaders of Valencia and Olsen. Adrian's the number 1 keeper. They are the old men in the squad right now. So my tactics, very sort of simplistic, very wide in terms of the 2 fullbacks. They do stay wide and run with the ball out wide. They'll mark the wingers as well. We formed a partnership between our centre-backs. We've also got a link here. And if you remember, when the young Avdic comes into defensive midfield next season, Tonali moves up to replace Grimes. Selena's got a great link with Borja for some reason. But yeah, very attacking. If they seem to be countering, I drop down to positive. I've got enough in the way of good sort of instructions here to get the ball in the right areas. And this really does help us, if I'm honest, the way this is set up. I like kicking the ball along with the goalie. Usually I'll go much higher line of engagement. I'll put that back on. I took it off for a game or two. This depends what the assistant tells me to do for the games, but lower defensive line with offside trap and a much higher line of engagement. We've got the midfield to kind of stretch the field that way. The width is provided by the fullbacks anyway. 2 men up top really does help us. As I say, squad dynamics, things are looking really good. We brought in some new players, but they're reforming the cohesion. You can see things are really good right now. Everything is working out quite nicely. And McBurney, my captain, has just joined the team leader's spot alongside my 2 aging fullbacks. And then Gimba, Jaras coming in alongside Selena and Roberts. Really happy there. Decent amount of influential players, including our goalie for next season. And the youngsters here, Duvan, Ayinde, Avdic, they're all kind of in that way. So you can see here, Antonio Valencia approaching the end of his career. If he retires, we'll be okay. Olsen will be leaving as well, though. But I'm not sure I want to bring in anybody else. I'm really hoping then that one of these guys, hopefully Gimba, my vice captain, will join in terms of being more of a team leader. So I'll have my captain and vice captain up there. I think that will be really, really good for us going forward, if I'm honest with you. The youngsters we've got as well, pretty good for the future now. Selling a few of the lower rated. But you can see Diallo back here. He will be released at the end of this year. In fact, it's time to put him down to being a backup. But yeah, good backups here, good ages for some of these players. But we're already seeing here only a few backups in the reserves. We've got Adrian, who's only here because he's gaining fitness, because he just come back from injury. I lost both goalies for a short while, so they're both rebounding from that. And then a bunch of hot prospects with a ton of potential. So I'm very happy with that. Bender, my backup goalie, I'm hoping to improve upon him. The youngster I'm bringing in should be able to do that. And then everybody else will be leaving. So the aging Norton, Mulder, Rutledge is retiring. He's been a good servant. And then the youngsters that I don't think are going to be doing any good. And then the players like George Bayer and Jay Fulton, who have complained about the lack of first-team football, but they're not quite good enough. They get into the mid-20s. I think it's good to get rid of those. As a Brett, just not good enough. Varby didn't find his spot in the team. Che Adams, a lot of money without production, so to make a little bit of profit on him, I'll be happy with. Then a bunch out on loan that I'm selling, most of them, I believe. I think I'm selling Burgess Evans, Garrick, Baker Richards, McKay, BRB, Ferreira, and Soro. So Ribeiro will stay, I believe, as well. Finlayson will stay, and probably Brendan Galloway will stay at least for a year or two, just so I've got enough backup there. So we're making the transitions. We're doing what we need to do. I think we're doing it in a good way. If we look as well at the staff, we've got the second best fitness coaches in the league. We're the best everywhere else. You can see we're really good at scouting. Not really judging the data side of things. We're working on that. Then the physio department, the medical team, we're absolutely fantastic there. No doctors. That is interesting, but yeah, we got a chief doctor. We got everything else set up. I think we're okay. We look really good in this department. We look really good there. If we look at the player, the members of the team. We've actually got Gianluca Nani as the Director of Football, Phil Cannon, Head of Youth Department. They are great members of the team for those roles. Edmund Reamer, again, he judges really well. He manages the team pretty good. He works with youngsters. We're rebuilding through youth. A little bit of tactical knowledge for the games that he controls, including the friendlies, and then the defensive option as well in training. Apart from that, I think everybody's got some good stats. And as I say, I think we're all in a good spot. So having everybody where they are is really good. I should probably get him on a full-term deal. And there we go. But yeah, even in the under-23s, under-18s, I haven't really done too much. We still got Torshak and Richards. We still got John Gray. We've got Donahue in as an under-18s assistant manager. Again, trying to improve those a little bit as time goes on. But I think really we've got to a good place in terms of backroom staff, playing staff, and everything else of that nature. We're on form. We're improving the youth facilities, the training facilities, and the data analyst facilities. We've got an American feeder club in Austin Bold. We're pretty much maxed out in terms of wages when the new players come in. We've got no more transfer budget. We've absolutely hammered it this season to get everything goes. And they don't like the signing of Josh Earl, despite that being $350K for a pretty much a first-team left back. I don't. With 5-star potential, I don't really see what's not to like there. Especially with Brexit and needing the British players. So, board confidence. The wage budget, we're handling really well. They don't like the club's stature for some reason, but that will go up when we get promoted. Competition performance, at this point, 91% above the league. So many points above what was expected to finish is absolutely fantastic. FA Cup, we've hit our goal. So already 55 before the West Ham game. We did get knocked out early here. Difficult draw on penalties to West Brom. They're not very happy there. But all in all, they're really happy with how things are going. The team have liked everything apart from that draw with Stoke. All the fans are happy. We couldn't retain possession in that game. Couldn't retain possession against Derby. I mean, we win 3-0. We couldn't retain possession. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd be happy with that. Again, 3-1 win there. We couldn't retain the possession. So we are trying to play the ball out quick and fast. Playing a bit loose with time. So Matt Grimes playing well. McBurney, Baston, Febas, Olsen, Badishil. Selena playing really well. And Connor Roberts, they absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Good defensive performances from him. And the transfers, as you can see, they don't like the fact that we lost Ayus, especially not for that fee. They didn't like releasing Boney. They didn't like James, which I couldn't do anything about. They don't like me bringing in Avdic. Really? Paid over the odds. Only expecting to be a backup option. Like, 16 already looks that good with so much room to grow. So much room to grow. And he's a perfectionist, so he will get there. He's already a championship player at 16. So much room to grow. Yes, we paid over, but he's not a backup. So I disagree. I agree with most of these releases and the cheap sales, but I was just trying to clear a bit of room. And Tonali up, they're fairly happy with, so pretty happy with most of those deals myself. They love Adrian. Absolutely unbelievable stuff there. They might not be happy when I release him after this season, of course. My centre-back partnership are there. They really like me bringing in Alex Febas and Antonio Valencia as well. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. But for now, they love my tactics. They love the form we're in. We're on course to win the league. Everything is in a really, really good place right now. We've made money, and then I've spent the money to get us into Premier League contention. I think the squad's good enough for the Premier League right now. So we're on that promotion push. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you for sticking with me through these videos. It's going to be a two-part, I think, because there's a lot to get through. So I'll split it into Season 1 and Season 2. But if you want to join in the fun live, head over on to Twitch TV at twitch.tv/ChrisAlmy, and you can join me there. I stream daily, Monday to Friday. I might stream on the weekends, depending on what else is going on. But you can catch me over there for the end of Season 2 and Season 3 and beyond in our journey, our quest to save Swansea City. I'll see you guys there. Take care.